So we're going to talk about loops and do a quick introduction to loops before jumping into while loops in the next section. So loops are sections of codes that are repeated again and again. They're often places where we want to do the same sort of code again and again. Now so far we've looked at a couple different structures. Most of our code has been sequential. So we've done one statement, another statement, and another statement in a sequence. We've also looked at if then, where you go and you do some selection and we branch. You either go and if it's true, you do someplace and then you continue. If it's false, you can do something else and continue. But again, this is only done once. You just go through and then you keep going. So now we're going to look at these loops. A loop or an iteration, we go into some decision like a while loop, and then we'll decide if that's true, we'll do some code, and then we'll loop back up here and check the condition again. Check this expression again, and if so, we'll loop around, and we'll keep looping for again and again until at some point this condition becomes false, and then we'll go off on our code. So it's kind of that's why we call it a loop. And so this is kind of the idea, is that we're going down, we have some condition. If it's true, we execute, we go around this track, and then we check if the condition is true, we go around the track. We keep doing this stuff. So this just walks you through some of the basic idea of a loop and what a loop is. It's good to start thinking about loops, doing something 3 times, doing something so many times, and trying things. So just walk through this exercise and see how it works as far as a loop goes. So for this activity, it just shows you an idea. It reads in a value of x, and it'll just print out loop through and do a print statement for that many times. And this is just in pseudocode. This isn't actual Java code. But you can start this. It'll say read x, and you can enter a value here. So I'm going to enter 5 here. Say OK. So it'll then loop around and print, loop around and print. It just kind of shows you this iteration where it's checking, it prints, it checks, it goes back up and prints, and finally it'll exit out the loop. And in this case, it just printed out 1 to 5 because I entered a 5 in here. Okay, so that's a quick introduction to loops. We'll see more with loops when we jump into the while statement, which will be our next section.